That's that summer. I also had my second co-op semester, and I worked at Consumers Energy for the second time. This time, I continued to struggle following directions. I learned a few things, but eventually my supervisor started to take more and more notice that I struggled with learning and following directions and getting the work done good. Eventually, halfway through the summer, I told my supervisor that I struggle following directions and told him that I had a disability. They were shocked. They had no idea that I had a disability and have Asperger's, and I struggle following directions. When I did that, I realized something, a fundamental realization that I probably should have realized earlier, and that I will now know and take advantage of from now on. I realized if you have Asperger's and struggle with following directions or any kind of learning disability, you have to let your supervisor know immediately, firsthand. I was afraid to let my supervisor know that because I was afraid they were going to misjudge me and possibly not want me to work there because I had a disability. But in reality, if I would have let them know that ahead of time, it would have actually helped me. But instead, it hurt me not telling them. Once I told them that, the office, my supervisor came up with some ways to help cope with my disability and my ability to follow directions. They came up with some ways to help me be more organized. They allowed me to. They taught me things in a way where it was helped me easier to make it easier to understand. They allowed me to take the time to write notes. They even color-coded the assignments to help make it easier for me to understand. If I would have known that last co-op semester, I probably would have learned and did the assignments much better. Unfortunately, at the end of the co-op semester, I got a call from my co-op supervisor at Kettering, the job link supervisor at Kettering that helps people find co-op jobs, and told me I wasn't able to work at Consumers Energy anymore. So basically I got let go, and I was really sad and upset. He basically said I wasn't really the right fit for this position. I personally, deep down in my heart, think that I probably was a good fit for that position. It was just I didn't tell my supervisor about my disability ahead of time, and they probably would have, compensated with my work, and I probably would have actually been successful if I would have known that earlier. So unfortunately, I lost my job, and it was basically because I didn't let them know I had a disability firsthand. At that point, later on, I decided that I probably was going to drop out of Kettering. I still struggled keeping up with classes in this fall semester of 2006. I was taking Calc 3 in one other class, and this was the second time taking Calc 3, and I dropped out of it last semester, and I was about to drop out of it again. At the last 2 weeks in the semester, I started doing graphic design work. I actually made a cartoon, started making this cartoon that I thought was kind of cool. It was called Fooling to the Unlimited. I showed Dave Boucher it and their friends, and they thought it was so funny. At that point, I realized I haven't been doing my creativity, my art, my graphic design work, and I realized how fun it was. At that point, I realized electrical engineering really isn't my thing. Yes, I'm interested in power lines, but I realized I wasn't really into engineering. What my heart really was at, from what I think at that time, was actually graphic design all along. So I decided at the end of that semester to drop out of the school. I decided that for the next semester will go to another school and continue with my multimedia, digital media, graphic design, and animation work.